senior from Hawaiʻi, number 32, Samuka Alfea. And for the 6'9" junior from Rio Santo, Brazil, number 5, Bernardo da Silva.
Hey, what's up, guys? How y'all doing? I've returned for yet another video, and I better do this real quick while it's still fresh in here. University of Hawaii's Big West 2024 men's basketball season schedule has just been released. It was on social media. This is just after the Diamond Head Classic. Now, I have to say that I have not said anything about the Diamond Head Classic, although I do already know what the teams are. But anyway, let's get started here. So anyway, I'm going to share my screen first, and I'm going to show the window. And there you are. Okay, as you can see, this is the schedule for the 2024 University of Hawaii men's basketball season, at least in Big West Conference play. And right away, we are starting with the same team that bounced the Bows out of the first round off of some controversial stuff, and I won't get into that. But all I can say is we start off against Cal State Fullerton. And I'll tell you this, if the University of Hawaii can come through with a win and stop this mental skid that they've been under with Cal State Fullerton, we're going to be looking really, really good. And of course, we have started out on the winning side of things in the Big West in the last number of years. I can't remember the last time we started on the losing side. I think it might have been 2018. I'm not sure. But hey, nonetheless, we have a point to prove after losing 4 straight meetings with Cal State Fullerton. So that's our start. And then it's only for one game and that's the final calendar game of 2023. And hopefully the University of Hawaii will show me something that they're ready for the conference season. Because it seemed like once Juan Munoz was lost in the exhibition matchup, that pretty much threw them out of sorts. So now it's a road home. And so now it's a road stand with 2 games at Bakersfield and CSUN. And I think these two should be easily attainable. But then again, you don't want to take each team lightly. But I say easily attainable because UH has not lost to Bakersfield since 2021. And although it doesn't seem like a long time, it is 4 or 5 or 6 meetings in a row that UH has defeated them. Well, actually 4 to be exact, with Cal State Bakersfield. Bakersfield was actually senior night in 2022. No, and after that, the Bows will be traveling to Northridge or CSUN. And CSUN, we have not lost to them since 2021. And that was in that second game, and that was in the COVID year. And UH has been able to put together a complete second matchup the last 2 or 3 years. And last season was no exception. And 2022 was certainly no exception as well. So I think we will win these first 3 games. At least I think we'll win both of these road games. Fullerton, I think, will win as long as we play well. If we hit the ground running, of course. But this will be UH's first challenge, UC Irvine. And if you recall, UH has split against UC Irvine the last few years, especially 2018, where we won at their place with only 3 field goals made in the second half. But fortunately, free throws saved our butts. I'm going to tell you that right now. So, Irvine, I think, will be their first test. And their second test is another team in UC Riverside. And I think UH has a lot to prove there after they essentially gave away the home matchup and gave away a possible season sweep over them. And Riverside is the only team that we have yet to get a season sweep over. I know it sounds crazy, but believe me, it is. So these two will be major tests. And we're actually going to be in for not one, not two, but 3 major tests when we go to Long Beach State. Now, fortunately, the University of Hawaii has lost only 1 time to Long Beach State in the past 3 years. And that 1 time came on at home in 2022. Fortunately, UH won the road game with 15 triples, but they almost coughed it up. But if you saw what happened in one of my live streams, UH had to fend off a furious rally from Long Beach State, who had eventually tied things up. But Jovan McClanahan managed to come through with a clutch layup with exactly 1 minute left. Unfortunately, we held on after Jadon Jones's half-court heave did not go. So, do I think we'll win this? Sure. I do think we'll win because we've had some good luck against Long Beach State. And then we go to UC San Diego, a team that UH has been perfect against in 4 meetings. Now, can we make it 5 and 6? I'd like to say so. But of course, in the road matchup against them, we did have a bit of a scare in the second half when UH got off to a slow start. But fortunately, once UH hit the ground running, they were able to pull away and maintain a double-digit gap for the rest of the game, or at least most of the rest of the game. So UCSD, I believe they will win that one as well. And of course, they're still transitioning into Division One. So obviously there's no tournament for them. So, but that doesn't mean that UCSD is set in stone. But if they play well, UCSD should be yet another win. I think we'll make it 5 wins, number 5 and 6 out of 6 tries. But we'll see what happens. They need to not have these Jekyll and Hyde games, or strong first half, bad first, a strong second half, bad first half, or vice versa. But here's another test in UC Santa Barbara, a game that we gave away thanks to a stupid McClanahan technical foul. That would have been overtime had AJ Mitchell's layup went in and everything had played out. And things played out differently, I think UH would have held on. So I don't know if we'll win against Santa Barbara. I'd like to say yes, but they're going to have to show me something first. Cal Poly, this should be easily attainable because Cal Poly has notoriously been on the bottom, in the very bottom of the conference, because last season, Cal Poly, they won the first game of the season, but came up blank the rest of the season. But would lose the rest of the season, I should say. So Cal Poly, I believe this will be 2 wins for them. But once again, they will have to play very well. And of course, Cal State Fullerton, I already said that. UC Irvine, I think they might split, but if UH shows me something during non-conference play, I might change my tune and say we can get 2 wins over UC Irvine. So UC San Diego at home on February 8th. As long as we play well, we should be able to take them both. And now we're coming up to some tests. UC Davis, they got some good players in Christian Anigwe, Elijah Pepper, and T.Y. Johnson. And of course, UC San Diego, they have Jace Rockamore, Francis Wakoria, and Justin DeGraff, and even they have another 3-point shooter. I forget who he is. Or Jake Kozakowski. I just remembered him. UCSD. So if UH is going to win against UCSD, they need to do well, and they're going to have to do the same thing with UC Davis. They're going to have very good first and second halves. Now, in the home matchup, they had 13 turnovers in the first half and committed just 2 in the second half, but went almost like 3/4 of the second half without a turnover. Essentially committing just 2 in the second half. And if UH can put together 2 good halves like that, they'll be a force to be reckoned with. That's why I'm telling you right now, I'm picking them to finish in 3rd place. Again, I'm confident that they can turn things around, and I'm very confident that they can make a play for 1st place. So Cal Poly, I already highlighted them. They got Ali Mami Karoma, and they lost the services of Brantley Stevenson. He transferred to Cal Baptist. But they're going to have to be very careful about Cameron Pierce, assuming that he is able to come back, and assuming he's not a senior or anything. And of course, CSUN, they got Deontay Bostic on the team, and he was a major pain in the backside when they came here. CSUN, I'm talking about. And UC Santa Barbara, they got AJ Mitchell, they got Cole Anderson. And they got a number of other players as well that can certainly be a major problem for the Bows. So now we're heading up into another test of Long Beach State, and you've already heard me talk about them. They're certainly not a squad to be taken lightly, Long Beach State, because they can take one away from you if you're not careful. But Cal Poly managed to do that in the Big West tournament in Henderson, Nevada. And that was only their 2nd win in conference play. That was only their second conference win, I should say. But Long Beach State, the home matchup, we won it 79-70, but that was a dogfight because UH had to play without Justice Jackson, Harry Ruliadeff, and Ryan Rapp, just to name a few. So we're going to have to do well against Long Beach State, but I'm very certain we will. And UC Davis, I highlighted that one. UC Riverside, once again, they're going to have to play steady, and they're going to have to play a lot better in the 2nd game against them because that's what happened. Riverside rallied after a Kamaka Hepa offensive foul, just pretty much ruined their flow. And as a result, they ended up losing by a possession, 54-52. So CSUN, I already highlighted that one of their star players, Deontay Bostic. They even got Fidelis Okereke. And if I'm UH right now, I'm looking at this game and this is actually a bit of something different here because the University of Hawaii normally ends the conference season on the road. This time they're ending conference play at home against CSUN and CSU Bakersfield. Now, I'm looking at maybe an electric second half where we end up pulling away from them like we did in the last 2 road meetings against them. because it was then and there where UH put together a strong second half. In 2022, they went on a 26-5 run to essentially put the game away. And last season, we managed to put it away rather early in the second half. And they're also losing Atten Wright because he is senior last year. And that's the thing. So they're losing some good players. CSUN is, or at least a good player, because Atten Wright is known to be a pain in the butt as well if you're taking on CSUN. And Bakersfield, they were shorthanded last season, but they were certainly not a team to take lightly because they managed to cut the gap. Although we did win both games against them, I have to admit, though, that UH's road win against Bakersfield was probably one of two complete conference games, in my view, that I thought UH managed to pull off. The other one coming at UC Riverside. At UC Riverside, they led pretty much wire to wire. But what stood out at me was that in the road game at CSUN, they lost the lead briefly, but they were able to take it back and managed to hold on the rest of the way. They needed a little luck on their side down the stretch, and they got it. And I did not see one significant scoring drought in that road game at Riverside on top of that. Okay? So Bakersfield, Jovan McClanahan in their road matchup hit a half-court heave, and he managed to propel the Bows to a double-digit win and held Cal State Bakersfield to 10 points, to at least 10 points under their season average, or at least 10 points under their average in the past 4 games. So I'm looking at a third place overall, at least, but I would very much like for them to show me something big, like they did against Northern Colorado 2 seasons ago. And of course, the Big West Championship, you never know who's going to be in there. You never know who's going to be the first round opponent, but we'll see what happens. And I like to think UH will do well before the tournament. I do believe that we will have at least a third place in us. So that is all for the season. I'm going to stop sharing the season. I'm stop sharing there. So anyway, I'm looking at a third place overall, at least, for the University of Hawaii. If they show me something in a positive way, I'm going to change my tune and think that they can at least get a second place, like they were picked to finish this past season, but ended up finishing 5th because of several games that completely slipped through their fingers. And of course, with Juan Munoz getting his waiver granted from the NCAA and getting another year, we should be good to go. And although we did lose 4 players to the transfer portal in Zor Ned, Justice Jackson, Beon Riley, and Amaro Lotto, I like to think that those holes that those guys would have filled will be covered. So we're going to see what happens. And we're going to wait until at least November because that's when the season kind of starts. Okay? So anyway, guys, that's all for today. And I will see you all next time. Well, I'm a punter, everyone.